Welcome everyone to another edition of Make It an Impact. I'm your host, Simply Sensational Billy James. Last week we saw Kurt Angle defeat Bobby Lashley to become a six-time TNA World Heavyweight Champion. And this week we get to see Kurt Angle's title victory celebration. Also last week, to the shock of fans and to the cheer of the London crowd, Rockstar Spud cashed in his Feast or Fire briefcase for a TNA X Division Championship title shot. He cashed in on low-key and walked out as the new X Division Champion. However, this week it's put up or shut up for Rockstar Spud as he faces Loki in a rematch with the TNA X Division title on the line. Also, we've got a lot more going on. The Cowboy, James Storm of the Revolution, will face the returning Jeff Hardy in a steel cage revenge match. Also on the card, we have Awesome Kong facing Brooke in a one-on-one knockouts match, and a lot more. And we're going to get to it here in just a few minutes. It's the first of the TV tapings from Orlando Studios in Orlando, Florida, the Impact Zone. So it's going to be interesting. And we're going to get started talking about all of it right now. Okay, the Cowboy, James Storm, and Cowboy of the Revolution came down to the ring where the six sides of steel were already set up. James Storm comes down and brags about how he put Jeff Hardy out and now he's put Matt Hardy out, and that if Jeff wants to try and get revenge, he's going to wind up just like this watermelon, which he shoves off the top of the cage, and it busts his pieces on the ring floor. Jeff Hardy comes out and says, yeah, you took me out, but I'm still standing. And he says, tonight I'm going to get my revenge. Manic tries to attack Jeff Hardy from behind and is a little successful, has him in an arm bar with Storm telling him to break his arm. However, Jeff Hardy gets out of it, hits the twist of fate, takes out Manic. He then approaches the ring saying, hey, we're going to do this right here, right now. We'll just lock the cage up. Well, before you can do that, Abyss attacks. However, his attack doesn't last, and Jeff Hardy takes out Abyss. And that's when the ceiling comes down and Jeff Hardy informs Storm, tonight you ain't having no help because you ain't getting out of this cage. It's interesting that they did this segment, but it was to get people hyped for the main event, which, you know, that's what you should do. You should try to get your fans hyped for the main event. No fans were happy to see Jeff Hardy back. Jeff Hardy was not allowed to go on the UK Maximum Impact Tour because of his previous drug conviction. He cannot travel to the UK. So because he has a felony conviction, so he's not allowed to travel over there. So that's the reason why they wrote that storyline in of him taking that horrendous fall off of the steel cage back at Lockdown in January. So, with that being said, we should have a good match tonight. The whole key thing is that Jeff Hardy took out two members of the Revolution. So, can he take? Will Cowboy be a factor in this match? But my question is, where's the Great Sonata at? Where was the Great Sonata? That's the million-dollar question. Okay, we had our first match tonight, and it's for the TNA X Division Championship. as the current champion Rockstar Spud defends against former champion Loki. Loki wasted no time going to town on Spud with several chops to the chest, keeping him grounded. Spud tried coming back with some chops of his own, but was taken down with one hard chop from Loki. Loki didn't waste no time. It looked like Loki was going for some type of a powerbomb type maneuver, but Spud reversed it into a tornado DDT and went for a pinfall attempt, but only got a 2 count. Well, as you expected, the Beatdown Clan came down and tried to get their hands involved in the match. MVP got on the apron. He distracted the referee, while that allowed Kenny King to nail Spud. And then Loki took down Spud and had him ready for the pin attempt. However, from the crowds, Drew Galloway comes taunting the Beatdown Clan. This distracts their attention and allows Rockstar Spud to come up behind Loki and roll him up for a 1-2-3, and Rockstar Spud retains the TNA X Division, the TNA X Division Championship. Tongue-tied there. Not much of a match. I would have liked it to be a little longer. I would have liked not the Beatdown Clan to be involved, and I would have liked Rockstar Spud to got a little more offense in. But that being said, who now challenges Spud for the championship since Loki got his rematch and lost? That's the $1,000,000 question. How long is Rockstar Spud going to hold on to the title? I don't know. I don't see him holding on that long, but it just depends. As far as Drew Galloway goes, we're going to talk more about Drew Galloway coming and diverting the attention of the Beatdown Clan here in just a few minutes. But as it stands right now, Rockstar Spud is still your TNA X Division Champion. Okay, after the match with Rockstar Spud and Loki, the Beatdown Clan were still in the ring, and we're calling out Drew Galloway. MVP said basically, Drew, you either get your ass out here or we're going to beat up every fan in the crowd. Well, Drew Galloway comes out from the entranceway and talks about how the fans make professional wrestling, and that the fans are tired of having the Beatdown Clan's views shoved down their throat, and that they're all going to rise against the Beatdown Clan. Kenny King basically says, look, dude, there ain't nobody coming to help you, and you might think you're like Mel Gibson and Braveheart, but if you remember correctly, Wallace lost his head to the king, which was a nice little catch reference there, historical reference, and worked out great for Kenny King. But Drew retorted back real quickly, no, if you finish watching the movie, Wallace, they won. Wallace just took a suffering, and I'm willing to do that. So Kenny King basically says, why don't you just stop running, come down here and take you beating like mad, or we're going to come and break both your legs. Drew Galloway comes down the ring, and then 2 other guys join him. They're all wearing t-shirts with the reference the Rising. From what I understood, their names are Sean Richter and Trevita Flecta. I'm hoping I pronounced that right. He was formerly known as Camacho in the WWE. And they basically, have a brawl in the ring chasing out the Beatdown Clan. So, it looks like we have a new stable in TNA called the Rising, which will be very interesting with Drew Galloway as the leader against the Beatdown Clan with MVP as the leader. So it's going to be kind of interesting to see, and at least confirms that Drew Galloway is a part of TNA and was just not there for the UK tapings. So that's kind of cool to know. We'll just have to wait and see what's going to happen with this, but it looks like it's going to be interesting. We'll just have to wait and see. Okay, we have our second match of the night, and it's a knockouts match. Brooke, or as I like to call Brooke Tessmacher, as I'm wearing the official Brooke Tessmacher t-shirt, don't mess with Tess, taking on Awesome Kong. In case you didn't know, Brooke has new entrance music called Girls Got a Booty. Oh yeah, Brooke got booty. Anyway, Brooke goes on the offense right as the bell rings with several kicks to the thighs of Kong, but it does no good. She tries for some chops, but Kong just deflects them off and knocks Brooke down when Brooke does a running forearm shot. Kong then then steps on Brooke's hair, pulling her arms back. Ooh, that had to hurt. Brooke tries to make some more comebacks, hitting a nice springboard forearm shot, but to no avail. Kong goes for a power bomb, but Brooke is able to reverse it into a face buster, and then goes to the top rope, hits an elbow drop, but goes for a pin tip, but Kong is able to get out too. Excuse me. Brooke keeps trying with some forearm shots, and she tries to rock her again and is able to stun Kong. She goes for a top rope splash, but Kong catches her and then turns it into a choke slam, sending Brooke to the mat. Kong then picks Brooke back up and hits the implant buster. 1, 2, 3. Kong is your winner. Then after the match, Kong hits another implant buster on Brooke. Brooke is totally out in the ring, while the referee, Errol Hefner, is, for whatever reason, pushing her toward the outside of the ring, where Kong has got a table out and is setting a table up. Well, by the time the referee figures out what Kong's doing, Kong gets her hands back on Brooke and tries to power bomb Brooke through the table. However, Terry Terrell comes down, stops Kong from doing it, and they have a little fight outside the ring until Kong sends Taryn into the guardrails and throws Taryn into the ring. But Taryn comes back with a drop kick. It stuns Kong. Taryn goes to the second top rope, comes off with another missile drop kick. This time it takes Kong down to the mat, and Taryn Terrell tries to finish things, but Kong rolls out of the ring. Taryn follows, and she gets thrown into the steel steps, and then Kong picks up Taryn Terrell and power bombs her through the table, leaving her laying. So we're definitely going to see a rematch against Taryn Terrell and Awesome Kong, which we should, because Kong has not been pinned by Taryn Terrell. If you remember last week in the triple threat match for the TNA Knockouts title, Taryn pinned Gail. So it's going to be interesting to see. Hey, it's great to see Brooke in the ring in an actual knockouts match. I hope down the road that Brooke gets another shot at the knockouts title. But right now, Awesome Kong looks like she's on the track to get her third knockouts title. We'll just have to see when it's going to happen. This is what why knockouts are one of the top premier women's divisions on national TV today. And notice I said national TV, okay? NXT is on the WWE network. That is streaming. It's not national TV. So I want to make sure we got the clarification there. And while some of the Diva matches are starting to improve, they're not near what the knockouts are. So, anyway, Awesome Kong looks like she's going after Taryn Terrell. Can Taryn Terrell be able to take down Kong? Don't know, but it's going to be good to see watching her try. Okay, Kurt Angle comes out to celebrate his win of becoming the six-time TNA World Heavyweight Champion. He talks about having not won in 3.5 years since he won his last championship, and how he rededicated himself working hard to get to this point. And he talked about Bobby Lashley being a worthy opponent. However, before he could get any further, trouble coming down the ring. That's right, EC3, Ethan the Carter III, comes down to the ring with his bodyguard Tigress in tow. EC3 talks about, hey, look, I'm undefeated. Also, I've defeated Hall of Famers, and he names off Sting, Bully Ray, and Kurt Angle, a TNA Hall of Famer, and says it's time for him to get his title shot and to be the next TNA World Heavyweight Champion. Well, then we hear the music of the It Factor, Bobby Roode. Bobby Roode comes down and says, whoa, hold the phone here. If there's going to be a talk of any TNA title match, it better have my name in it, because that belt was stolen from me, and I never got my fair 101 rematch for that title. And then, oh, it gets even better, my friends. Eric Young comes down and talks about, no, I'm not finished with you. We're not finished by a long shot, Bobby Roode, and says that I'm going to take that title shot when I'm done with you. And of course, joining in festivities, the greatest man that ever lived, Austin Aries, comes down to the ring with his Feast or Fire briefcase, which guarantees that title shot for the TNA World Heavyweight Championship. Talking about EC3 is not going to be able to buy himself a title shot, and berails the others before saying, hey, you're interrupting the Angle celebration. Or, actually we can have a celebration if I cash in here. But he doesn't do that. Instead, he pulls out a champagne bottle and hands it to Angle. But as Angle is leaving the ring to let the others argue, he gets confronted by Bobby Lashley, who says, I'm getting the next match. And Angle's like, fine, we'll do it. And we find out next week that we're going to get that match. A rematch, Bobby Lashley versus Kurt Angle for the TNA World Heavyweight Championship. But meanwhile in the ring, we got a brawl starting between the 5 men, and then Mr. Anderson comes down and joins in, and then we get a 6-man tag team match. So I'll tell you, let's hold on just a second. Okay, this was a fast match. And it started out with Aries in the ring with EC3 going to work on him. And then he tags in Anderson, who comes in and works. And then finally tags in Bobby Roode. However, after Bobby Roode gets tagged in, he gets hit with a cheap shot from Tigress and Eric Young while the referee is checking on EC3. And that gives EC3, Tigress, and Eric Young the advantage, and they work on Bobby Roode for several minutes, working between each other with tags. However, when Eric Young goes for a pile driver, Bobby Roode's able to reverse it and knocks out Young, allowing him to get the tag to Austin Aries. Austin Aries comes in, he cleans house with all the men out in the ring. He goes, it looks like he's going for a suicide dive, but he gets clotheslined by Tigress. And then we have a fest of spots during the match, and it comes down with Eric Young in the ring with Roode and Aries. They take out Young, laying him flat in the mat. Aries goes up for the 450 splash, misses, hits knees first. This allows Eric Young to get Aries into the figure four. Aries has no choice to tap. Your winners, EC3, Tyrus, and Eric Young. It was a brought to match, not a bad match. It was just, and I probably blew through it. It's hard to pay attention to it. It was out of the blue. It's like, oh, let's just throw these six together and have a six-man tag team match. But when you got guys like Bobby Roode, Austin Aries in the match, and on the other side you got guys like EC3 and Eric Young, I mean, it's going to be a good match. I'd say a two-star match. It wasn't that. I mean, it was good, but it wasn't great, and it's just impromptu. There wasn't no. Didn't have no investment get behind it. Besides, it was just thrown together. So, but still, it's great to see all six of these guys in the ring, especially Aries. Anytime Aries is in the ring, I love it, and Bobby Roode for that matter. So we'll just have to wait and see what's going to happen. These four guys have made it clear they want that TNA World Heavyweight Championship, and that's what it should be. It should all be about that TNA World Heavyweight Championship. So who's going to be the next to get it? That's the $1 million question. We'll just have to wait and see. Okay, we had Bram in the ring talking about Magnus attacking him last week, and basically called Magnus a coward and said that Mickey was more of a man than Magnus was, and then runs his mouth starting to talk about Magnus's son. Well, Magnus comes out with the one and only hot Mickey James and basically says, you need to shut your mouth up right now. I did to you last week what you did to me. And you want to fight? We'll fight right now. I'll fight you any place. I'll fight you anywhere. I want to fight you in the ring. I want to fight you in the entrance way. I want to fight you back in the gorilla position. I want to fight you anywhere. And Bram taunts him a little more with innuendos and comments about his family. Magnus runs down. They start fighting in the ring. But Bram low blows Magnus and then goes to the outside of the ring to go for that dreaded turnbuckle piece and goes to hit Magnus with it, but then turns his attentions to Mickey. He pulls Mickey by the hair into the ring and then pulls her back and says, kiss my boot like Magnus did. Then as he lowers her down, he changes his mind and says, no, I'll take a sloppy kiss instead. Well, Magnus comes back, German suplexes Bram, and then takes that turnbuckle piece and starts beating the living hell out of Bram. Magnus grabs Mickey and pulls her out with himself to the outside of the ring. But Mickey's like, hell no. She goes back in and starts beating the shit out of Bram. And Magnus goes back in and grabs her off of Bram, which gives Bram enough time to hightail it to the back as Mickey and Magnus stares him down. I have to say, TNA's been doing a very good job with this feud. The emotion, the intensity's there. I think Mickey James has done a great job being the supportive factor toward Magnus's character. It's helping people get behind him even more. And I think we got to have a payoff here soon, and maybe it will be next week as Bram will take on Magnus. And my understanding is it's a Falls Count Anywhere match, so it should be interesting to see. How long is Mickey going to be in TNA? I do not know. Also, when is she going to wrestle a match in TNA? I'm telling you right now, Awesome Kong versus Mickey James. It's Money in the Bank, people. Make it happen, TNA. Do it while you got the chance. I paid good money to see that. So, nevertheless, great segment. I thought it was well done. Maybe I'm a little biased because I'm a Mickey James fan, but hey, I'm getting behind this. So, you need to watch it. I think I think they got something going here with Magnus and Bram, two guys that Magnus, who's never been in WWE, and Bram, who was only briefly in NXT. So you got two guys that are not WWE stars, and that they can mold them into their own stars and make them, you know, top guys. So that's kind of cool to see. Okay, we had our main event. The Cowboy, James Storm, taking on Jeff Hardy inside the six-side steel cage with the roof. Lethal lockdown style. Weapons on the ceiling, and with Storm being the first in the ring, he takes advantage, nailing Hardy with the trash can lids, beating the crap out of him, but Hardy comes back, is able to hit a head scissors, takes Storm down, and sets up a steel chair, and hits Poetry in Motion, sending Storm into the side, into the steel side wall. However, he misses the second attempt, and he gets sent headfirst into the steel cage wall. They fight back and forth. One point, Storm hits a nice super kick. He also goes for the Eye of the Storm, nails it, but not enough to keep Hardy down. Hardy, at one point, tries for the Swanton Bomb, but Storm blocks it by bringing the knees up and such. Storm tries to go for the cowbell shot, but misses. And then tries to go for another weapon on the ceiling, but Hardy goes up and is able to nail Storm with a Frankensteiner from the top of the cage, which was pretty damn cool. Nice spot. Then he goes to town. He hits a Twist of Fate, followed by the Swanton Bomb, but still he's not finished. He goes up to the top rope, using the center of the cage, which has like a monkey bar type like rigging, pulls himself to the middle of the ring, swings himself several times before coming off with a splash, pinning Storm. 1, 2, 3. Awesome match, and I'm just giving you the highlight spots here, but this was like the match of the night. The fans were really behind it. Jeff Hardy, you know, it's like, dude, you're killing it, man. You know, it's like when you see Jeff Hardy in this type of a match, you know you're going to see some cool stuff. And it was, I think the spot of the night for me had to be that Frankensteiner. I was like, oh shit, that hurt. So it's kind of cool. Well, Jeff has the time to rest up because, you know, he had like over a month and a half to rest up. So he was like really ready for this match. So that's kind of cool to see. It was nice, clean, you know, one-on-one match. And that, you know, that's what wrestling's about. But this, you know, this was kind of cool to see. Does this end the story, a feud between the Revolution and the Hardys? Will we see another match, or is this it, and the Hardys move on to bigger and better things? And if that's so, what becomes of the Revolution? That's $1 million question. But still, you know, I didn't say this a lot throughout the show, but I'm telling you right now, if you miss this match, this is the match that you want to watch, because this was the match of the night, and I'm telling you, you're not going to regret if you go and watch this match. I'm telling you right now. Okay, our superstars tonight. No surprise, it's the Enigma, the charismatic Enigma, Jeff Hardy, and the Cowboy, James Storm. These guys stole the show tonight in that six-side steel cage match. So kudos to them for putting up one hell of a job. We got some story advancements. We now have this new feud, the Beatdown Clan taking on Drew Calloway's The Rising, which is going to be interesting to see how that group goes and does. We're also, what's going to become of the Revolution, because Revolution got their ass kicked tonight. Jeff Hardy took out, earlier in the show, he took out the Abyss and Manic. I didn't mention this earlier, but he also took out Soya, who was sent by Storm to take out Hardy before the match. Hardy was getting his ass kicked at first, but he was able to come back and took a steel ladder to Koei, knocking him down, and then he hit him with three or four shots with beer bottles before finally taking him down. So that's the reason why Koei didn't come down and interfere in that match, and I should have mentioned that earlier. I do apologize. Also, Awesome Kong making her dominance made once again as she took out the TNA Knockouts champion Taryn Terrell by powerbombing her through a table. Who can stop Awesome Kong? Can Taryn Terrell beat Awesome Kong in a one-on-one match? That will be the interesting thing to find out. Or will we see a new TNA Knockouts champion? We also saw it, the table set up. Kurt Angle is the new TNA World Heavyweight Championship, but he's already got five guys chopping at the bits to get their hands on Angle and to get that TNA World Heavyweight title. We're talking about Bobby Roode, the It Factor, Eric Young, EC3, Ethan Carter III, Austin Aries, the greatest man who ever lived, who has a guaranteed title shot whenever he wants it. He can cash in that Feast or Fire briefcase. And of course, the former TNA World Heavyweight Champion, Bobby Lashley, who is the first to get his hands on Kurt Angle, as he will face Kurt Angle next week for the TNA World Heavyweight Championship. Also, another great segment with Magnus and Bram. They will face each other next week and a lot more. Next week's show is looking like it's going to be freaking awesome. Can't wait to see what's going to go on. Also, we should be seeing the TNA Tag Team Title Tournament starting up soon. As you know, it's it's been all over the web that the Wolves were stripped of the TNA Tag Team titles due to Eddie Edwards' injury, and we'll have new Tag Team Champions here shortly. So we'll find out who that's going to be and much more. Okay. Once again, guys, I want to thank you so much for watching this Making an Impact YouTube show. I checked earlier this week. We were up at 25 views. Thank you so much, guys. I really appreciate that. If you're watching this weekend, I want to say extra thank you. I know with it being WrestleMania weekend, hard to watch, but if you are watching this weekend, thank you so much. If not, I still appreciate all your support. Okay, plug time. Catch me every Tuesday night on Blog Talk Radio via the Nerdport Network, and it's the Wrestling Debate, hosted by myself and my good buddy John P. Mayer. We also have on there Sean Shark Williams, Andrew B., Jaime, Stat Boy, Michelle, Summer, and I apologize if I left anybody out because it's a long list. We're always on there talking about everything from TNA to WWE, the NXT, the PWS, the Lucha Underground, Ring of Honor. We're talking about it all. I'm sure this Tuesday we'll be talking a lot about WrestleMania 31 and a lot more. Also, every Wednesday night, also on the Blog Talk Radio, brought to you by the Nerdport Network, it is an independent point of view hosted by my partner in crime, John P. Mayer, as he talks independent wrestling, especially Pro Wrestling Syndicate. He's got his finger on the pulse of independent wrestling. He's had some great interviews on there. You got to check it out. You can get the times off of the Nerdport Network's Facebook page. So check him out. It's a great show. I know you're going to enjoy it. Well, that's it for this week's edition of Making an Impact. I've been your host, Simply Sensational Billy James. Thank you once again for joining us. We'll be back next week, and if you guys are doing, if you're in California, I hope you enjoyed WrestleMania, and if not, enjoy it on TV. And also, when they get started back on tour You gotta go and see a TNA house show. I'm telling you, you're not going to regret it because you're going to enjoy yourself. So check it out.